backstage? That was
I did, sir.
Naruto run.
I don't know what it is.
Hi guys!
What is up?
Welcome to the JJ. Oh yeah, you're gonna do the video. Hi guys, a quick introduction. Hi, I'm Kaiji Tang. I'm the voice of Gojo Satoru. Adam, right?
Adam McArthur, voice of Yuuji.
And mistress of the squeaky bonky hammer. But thank you guys. It's so great to see you guys in person after the year we had last year. So it's so good to be here in an actual con. So yeah, I'm super psyched. We were planning to do that a backstage formation B for like months, and I hope it turned out well.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the run. I haven't run since 2019.
Right. Yeah. We were a little rusty.
Sitting on. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So thank you for. Exhausting.
Got the heart. So yeah, this is a completely unmoderated panel. So anything could happen.
Wild West, guys.
How about, do you want to start with just telling a little bit about ourselves so we can know what we're working with?
Yeah, totally. You want to go first? I'll go first. Want me to go first? I'll go first. Okay. All right. So. Man, this has been such a cool journey. So I don't know if most of you know this, maybe some of you do. Jujutsu Kaisen was actually the first anime that I ever worked on. And the question I get often is like, alright, so like what was the process or how did it come about? And it sort of just came about like any other audition. Although about a year and a half ago, I was watching the overhaul arc end on My Hero Academia. Yeah. And I was like, these actors are incredible. Like, this is good. Like, I'm just crying. I'm watching anime and crying. I feel like everybody who watches anime cries. Right? It's just like, it just touches something. And I just remember thinking like, man, I really... You know, I had come from Star vs. the Forces of Evil and other like pre-late animation. Yes! Mark Lydia's in the house as well. But yeah, so I just had this desire to do anime. So I chatted with my agent and again just started getting auditions. And then the first one that I got, of course, was Jujutsu Kaisen, or one of the first ones I got was Jujutsu Kaisen. But at that time, the subbed episodes were already maybe like 2 in. It was still really new. So I had already watched them before I got my audition. So I was like a fan of the show before I had an audition for it, which is really cool. And then I got the audition and I was like, oh no way, that's cool. And then the process for something like Star vs. the Forces of Evil was basically I auditioned for something 9 months before I got the official announcement or call that I was Marco. Jujutsu Kaisen, I got the audition, and a week later found out that I was Yuuji. So everything happens very fast in anime, it was really cool. I've had a very warm welcome into the world of anime, and again, I'm just like so stoked because A, I get to work with a lot of really amazing people.
It's amazing.
Who I have been fans of before all this started. And so yeah, that's sort of my like quick little journey to being Yuuji Itadori, who's freaking a good kid!
Yes.
I love this guy!
Such a good boy.
Let me just say, going from, and I've done other stuff in between, but you know, as far as like a lead on a show, going from Marco Diaz to Yuuji Itadori is like a blessing. Like a good boy to another good boy, and I'm very grateful for that.
No, he goes through some stuff.
Oh yeah. Actually, I have a print at my table of Yuuji like throwing up the peace sign, and he looks so happy. And every time I look at it, I'm just like,
what's in store for you, buddy?
I'm sorry, Junpei. It was totally too soon to mention Junpei.
They were supposed to be here too.
You should have come to Jujutsu Tech. You should have come to Jujutsu Tech. He should have. Why did he say no? He didn't answer fast enough. Is anyone in here cosplaying Junpei? Please. Is anyone Junpei?
Oh, does anybody just like to cry in the mirror?
Oh, forgot about it. Nice, real good look, everyone. No one here can even remember.
Wow. Okay, my turn. So my path to Nobara Kugisaki is a very long and windy road. I am the child of Filipino parents, and as such, I was ready to become a doctor. I went to Markham University, and I graduated with a degree in biomedical engineering. Thank you.
But wait, there's more.
The whole time I was doing theater, and then my acting teacher was like, "You should go to grad school for acting," and I was like, "That's something we do." So I auditioned, I did the URAs, and I got into Cal Arts, and I was like, I guess that's something we do. So I told my parents, and they were horrified. I took on some debt, and I went to grad school for acting, and then realized I had to pay it back. So I found a job as a forensic scientist.
I told you there was more.
And I was a forensic scientist for 7.5 years while I was pursuing theater and comedy and voiceover on the side. And then finally a few years ago, I was like, if I'm going to make acting my career, I have to make acting my career. Otherwise, I will be a forensic scientist. And while it's a very interesting job, and I would love to talk to any of you about it if you're very interested, it was also so crushing at the very same time. So I cut the cord, and I decided to pursue acting full time. And then a few years later, after getting an agent, Nobara fell in my lap, and I had no idea about the franchise. I had never read the manga, I wasn't aware of the show up until I got this audition, and I was like, something was like, you should research, do the whole, shebang. And I saw that there were episodes online, the first 3 episodes, and when I got to episode 3 and I saw Nobara for the first time, I was like, yeah, I want that. So like I waited until the very last minute and did my audition like a good actor.
3 minutes before it's due.
3 minutes before it's due, I sent it in. But a week later I got it and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. But even then, like I had no idea how big this show was gonna be.
It was impossible.
It was impossible to know.
Yeah.
But I knew when I started recording that I was already a big fan of it. And so then I just started my descent into madness. I read the whole manga. I soaked up as much information as I could, and I feel so blessed to be a part of this franchise and to be working with such amazing guys, these two.
You have to tell us, is it true that the new season of Dexter is completely based on your life? I heard that as a rumor. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Is it also true that they were originally going to name Nobara CSI Kugisaki?
How did you know?
I have a feeling.
I think I have the most boring audition story ever. I was not aware of Jujutsu Kaisen when I got the audition. It was when I got the audition that I did my quick 1-day research, and I was like, okay, cool. But specifically, the person who sent me the audition was someone I worked with on Bungo Stray Dogs. And they were like, hey, you had voiced this character previously, Dazai, right? And there's a character coming up, and he's, they share some of the same traits. I was wondering if you could give us a read on it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I sent it to them. I think it was same thing, a week later they contacted me. It's like, hey, would you, no pressure, would you like to roll? And I was like, let me think about that, I guess. But yeah.
Was the turning point when you saw a picture of his beautiful blue eyes?
I did not see his eyes until well into recording. I had no idea that's what they looked like. I thought he had no eyeballs. I thought he was just
disfigured.
yeah, I was like, there's some terrible scar behind there, I know. And they're some birds plucked his eyeballs out. Now he's like a Jujutsu instructor. But that turned out not to be the case.
Yeah, quite the opposite of that.
Ikemen over there.
What a beautiful man.
I remember though, the moment I did see the eyes was in session because Soric, right?
Yeah.
He was like, oh buddy, have you seen? This is how he said Soric.
The voice director of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. Buddy, have you seen your character's eyes, buddy? Man, I'm a straight married guy, but I don't know.
First, Michael Sorge
He also plays on, what's his
He
name?
plays Jogo.
Jogo, yeah, sorry. He's Jogo. So
Yeah.
we had our dating episode.
I have a question for you guys. Did you audition for any other characters besides those?
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just Nobara. Who did you audition for? Did you audition for Yuuji?
Yuuji.
I also auditioned for Gojo.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened back recently and I was like, oh yeah, no.
Did he have you
No one.
audition for Fushiguro?
Yes.
Fushiguro.
Actually, I liked my audition for Fushiguro.
I did audition for Fushiguro. Yeah. That was the first person I read for. Then I read for Yuuji, and then because like they gave it to me like. Usually they give me all the characters I want to read for.
Yeah.
They gave it to me like separately, which is weird. It's like, hey, try this. Hey, why don't you try that? Oh, by the way, try this one. And then the last one just happens.
Well, I mean, at the time, the only female role to read for was.
That's true.
So.
I also read for Sukuna. And that was ridiculous. I went from Marco Diaz to Sukuna. Which just makes zero sense.
We should do like an abridged episode of the show where we trade off roles.
100% be down for that. Or we should agree. That's it. That's all I got. That's it.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now that that's out of the way, do you guys I have a question for you guys.
Okay. Yeah, let's just Q&A each other. Because I do have some questions for you guys.
So Adam, this being your very first anime, right? When you told me this, I was like, holy crap, what a crazy first show to start out with.
And I was like, oops.
Coming from the Western animation, how did you enjoy the lip flappage?
How did I enjoy the lip
How do
flappage?
you enjoy the lip flappage?
It's interesting. Some of it just doesn't, even in, like, okay, when you're dubbing an episode, sometimes you're like so in the zone and watching like timing of lines and stuff like that, and listening to the Japanese version, that you realize even the Japanese version doesn't match. Like, just generally speaking, the lip flaps on both sides of it aren't totally correct.
They're just real janky.
Yeah, and I do think that the people who localize it here do actually a really good job of trying to make it fit more. But, you know, on Star vs. the Forces of Evil or any of the other Western stuff, like most of the time I would do at least 2 voiceover sessions per episode. So I would go in and we would just have a script, we would just have a storyboard, we would record all the lines, create the character, that would get shipped off, and then like much closer, like a year later, much closer to the episode actually airing, they would have us come back again, and if they had edited down the final animation and needed to tweak any lines, like if the intent wasn't right or not, you know, once the animation got back and was more intense, we needed to like amplify a line or whatever, we would re-record it. So at that point, it is a lot more similar to dubbing. So we were going in and like, you know, the line might have completely changed, but they're still using the original lip flap. So it wasn't a huge change, and I've actually done a ton of live action dubbing, which is significantly harder for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it was still like, I think what was hard is with the other stuff, I was able to improvise a lot, and the acting felt like I had the opportunity to be more natural with it. And that's what took me a little bit to adjust with JJK. And I actually think, like, if you listen to where Yuuji starts in episode 1, and some of it I do think was like, we were all gelling. Voice direction-wise, we were gelling, all that stuff. Recording in our home closets and booths and stuff like that during 2020, that was also something about this show that's crazy. I actually was the only person who ended up recording in a studio. Everyone else recorded at home.
At that entire show, I never wore pants once. Every time you listen to Gojo, I had no pants on.
I think that really shaped it.
Yeah, you can really hear the
He
pants.
wrapped them around his eyes for inspiration. So yeah, so it was just like, you know, a lot of stuff about it was similar, but, you know, tonally I do think there was a shift even from episode 1 to like 4, and then everything kind of gels and continues on to like what I think is pretty badass stuff. Bad butt dub.
Bad butt. I thank you so
You're in good company, Adam.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This is for both of you guys. And I feel like we nullified one of the responses because it's the easiest one, which is episode 23. But my question is...
By the way, before you ask, the reason why we're asking this, we haven't seen each other, like, at all. Like, during the entire recording process. We never, like, were able to get together or, like talk shop about the show.
We left LA at, like, 6 a.m.
Yeah!
So
This is actually, like, one of the first times we can hang out in person.
Yes.
So we're like, what happened with the show with you?
Yeah. I want to know what your guys' favorite Juju Stroll was.
We can't say 23.
And you cannot say 23. I mean, raise your hand if it's episode 23.
We can't say
It's obviously Formation B. Okay, so then what's your second favorite?
Yeah, what's your second favorite? What's your second favorite? Can you think of one?
I'm sure I can.
Can I say, there is one, there's two, and they use basically the same ending animation.
Oh, yeah!
And I didn't know that until, because sometimes it's like weeks in between episodes, and you do heavily rely on the voice director for context and dubs and stuff like that. And sometimes there's just like so much going on that things get missed. And this was definitely one of them because I didn't realize until literally I was watching the show. And I was like, wait, we've already seen this Juju. Oh, I get it. And it's the one where Panda has his like back to everybody.
Oh, that's right.
And it's crying, and Yuuji literally says like, guess they ran out of ideas. That cracks me up. I love that about the show, where it's like, there is a self-awareness. Every character's amazing.
Yeah.
I just love this show so much.
What was that thing with the stallion story you had, like the man stallion?
Oh!
What came about with that?
Yeah, where did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, so I just kind of pay attention, like lurk online, and I definitely noticed that there was just like a lot of people talking about Megan Thee Stallion. And of course, Megan Thee Stallion loves anime.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna make a TikTok. I was like, I have too much power. So I literally edited, I think it's episode 2 where Yuuji introduces himself to the principal, and he's like, my name is Yuuji Itadori. I'm into girls like Jennifer Lawrence. But instead, I was like, I'm gonna make him say Megan Thee Stallion. So I re-edited it. But look, the edit, I deserve so much props for my edit. It's like,
there are people online who think that's the real
it is a legit fire edit, because at the exact moment he says Jennifer Lawrence in the dub, the music cuts out. So I got the cleanest dub of saying Megan Thee Stallion, edited that thing in, posted it on TikTok, and it has like 2 million views. To this day, I come across people on Twitter, on TikTok, and they're like, wait, I watched the dub just because Yuuji says he said the girls like Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm like, so many people think it's real, which I think is
You are a purveyor of anime fake news, my friend.
Also, by the way, while I have you all here, please go on to either my Twitter or my TikTok, find that video, and tag Megan Thee Stallion every single day until she notices, because I want her to sample me saying that and make the next hit. Like, I want to be in one of her songs, you know?
Let's do it.
She just puts Yuuji's face.
I don't know. I actually don't know why, but my TikTok has started to slowly become just like JJK inspired stuff. So I have an audition like as if I'm auditioning for the live action version of Junpei. And I have a horrible Snapchat filter on it that just like elongates the shape of my head. It's I know. Are we okay? Someone was like, how dare you? Someone was like, call the cops. I'm like, I cope with comedy.
Can I say, I really just kind of want to watch a spin-off show with both of your characters together, because they have like the funnest shopping chemistry I've ever seen in my. Oh, that's my favorite Juju Stroll aside from 23. Isn't there one where they like shop together, or am I thinking of the end of an episode?
It's the end of
24. Yes.
Never mind. But yeah, I literally just want to watch a show where you just give Yuuji crap for like the entire time.
Yeah, well here's the deal is that like she does that, and then the moment Fushiguro comes out, then the two of them are the idiots, and he's the straight man.
I want that so bad.
Yeah.
It like constantly blows my mind the amount of things that these characters go through. where like, you know, 1 minute we're battling curses and it's like these life or death things, and Yuji's having these like existential crises where he's realizing like in that episode 24 where the I'm sorry right before he kills Esso. It's like, oh.
I cried.
But yeah, that was like, I loved recording that part because I was like, yeah, they will feel something. I was like channeling, I was like, remember when you cried when you watched Executive defeat Overwhelm?
That sounds fun.
Yeah, but they go through like so much stuff, but then you have these like super light moments where like, you know, Nobara, Yuji, and Megami have, it's like they have one brain cell between the three of them.
And
It's glorious. Yeah.
It's Megami's brain cell.
Yeah.
This includes Gojo, by the way.
Yeah.
Gojo's like, I mean, Gojo's his own beast.
Oh man, I wish Ruby was here.
Oh yeah.
We still haven't done like a event with all of us together.
Yes.
Yes. We're gonna do that.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun.
Really quick, I don't want to accidentally say spoiler things because I don't know what people have. Raise your hand if you're caught up with the manga.
Or actually, rather, raise your hand if you're not caught up with
Raise your hand if you're not caught up with the manga.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That shape star discussion.
I was gonna say Yuji dies, but he dies in like episode 2. Yeah. He's like been there, done that.
That's not a spoiler.
Watching that episode, so you know the sub episodes are out before the dub. So like when I get scheduled, or I'm sure you guys do this too. When I got scheduled for my dub records, I would go in and then watch the sub episode.
Yeah.
And when Yuji dies, I was like, well, it was a good run.
I thought it was the main character.
Everybody really hyped me up for this one. I don't quite get it.
Did you know he was going to come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, that story, I didn't want to include that.
I was like, did Sword make you believe that you were
Yeah.
dead? Oh, buddy, I'm sorry. That's it.
Nice knowing you.
So our voice director is amazing. He has literally been in the anime dubbing game for many, many years. We bonded because I have done martial arts my whole life, and I am like, I love Jackie Chan. Like, I love Jackie Chan. Like, if Jackie Chan was here, I would sit next to Jackie Chan. That's how much I love Jackie Chan. But Michael Sorich did dubbing in Rumble in the Bronx, which is like one of the early like came to the U.S. Dubbing. But the other thing about him that I want everybody to know is, and this is maybe just in my sessions, you guys can chime in. Maybe it was because I was going into the studio and it was during a time when it was really hot in LA. He didn't wear a shirt a lot of the times. or he, like, many times I would enter and he'd be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know you were coming right now. Maybe it sounded like it was because he thought he was doing a remote session like with everyone else, but he's like, hold on, let me get my shirt. He would like put his shirt on. Just thought you guys should know that.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It was amazing.
You guys have to understand.
I've actually still never met him in real life.
You haven't met him?
No.
You need to meet him. He's like everyone's affable uncle.
I know. I love him. I love working with him. And every time we're in a session together, even like I've now worked with him on 3 shows now. He's like, you gotta make that cake. He gave me a cake recipe once, and every time he's like, you gotta make me that cake. I'm like, okay, someday.
He made me come to his house after a JJK session. He lived very close to his gym. He's like, you gotta come by. I got mac and cheese. And I was like, you know what? That is all the reason I need to come by. So I go to his house. He cuts out, it's like a giant pan of mac and cheese. He cuts me out a thing, and he puts it on a plate. It was in the fridge, and he wraps it in cellophane. And this was like a marathon session. It was like one of the harder episodes, so a lot of yelling and like a fight scene or something like that, which I'm always just exhausted after I do that. And so I was driving home, for whatever reason, LA traffic was horrible that day, and it was like an hour and a half to get to my house from the studio. Like, it was bad, and I was just like, I'm starving, like, do I stop for food, but then it's gonna take longer, and then I looked over my passenger seat, and I'm like, I've got cold mac and cheese wrapped in cellophane. Do I do it? And the answer is yes.
The answer is always yes.
And it was nasty. Because it was cold! It was ice cold mac and cheese. And it wasn't like you needed a spoon, I had no utensils. I picked it up and it was like waffle texture. And I was like, I'm hungry.
That is actually my favorite Juju Stroll, the vegetarian dumpling one. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes. which reminds me of the scene where everyone's sitting around the table talking, Yuji's eating pizza and whatever, and they're just like having a conversation, and then like 5 minutes into the conversation, the camera angle turns and Toto's been sitting there the whole time. I love that.
I feel like this entire panel could be stories about sword.
Yeah. Should we, I mean, I don't want to like, how long, we have an hour and a half, right?
We have an hour and a half.
And how far into it? We're a half hour in.
So if you want to take a lot of questions, we can start lining up now.
Well, why don't we do like, let's do like some questions and then we can come back and we can do some more talking. So we'll just like break up the Q&A, but I do think we should.
Yeah, well, do you want to make a number for how many?
Let's do, what, 5 questions?
5, yeah, let's have 5. Let's have 5 people.
First 5 people come up.
One question each.
One.
And don't ask me who the daddiest character is in JJK, which is confusing me all the time. Because the answer is obviously not me.
Yes, obviously. Millennial daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, the mic's on. Here.
Is there an on switch? No. There. Hold on. I'm gonna try that. Yes,
There it is.
tell us your name, where you're from, your PIN number, and your question.
Okay. Julina? Okay, before I actually get into my question, I had a fun little story. So, I'm all caught up with the manga. Don't worry, no spoilers before I say this one. But when I was reading the manga, whenever I would read out loud for like Panda, I would always do this voice that I would always pick because it's the voice I picked for one of my original characters who's a bear. He's like 17 years old. And actually, fun fact, he's actually inspired by an orc from the PBS show Dragon Tales, basically. That's how I picked. Anyways, when I was and so the interesting part about it was that I never watched the Japanese, and the dub didn't get to him by that point. And so when he finally made his debut, and so after he did Ride, I listened to that and was like, hey, that kind of sounded like how I approached it. Only my tone was just softer.
He stole it from you, straight up. You told me.
Yeah. So,
I love telling this story so much.
thank you for sharing.
Anyways, my question is, how excited you guys you guys are for more to come with this series, especially the upcoming movie. The prequel.
So psyched. Yeah, I'm so psyched about Volumes here.
The trailer looks.
This leads me to a question. Do you guys, if you were casting JJK, who would you cast as Yuta?
No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it.
I know, it's a spicy question.
That is a spicy question.
It's a spicy question.
Oh my god. Oh, that's like, how do I answer this diplomatically?
Yeah.
I won't.
All right, you tell us first.
Okay, so there are obviously many people who would be like amazing. You can make a case for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
But I actually think Max Middleman would make an amazing Yuta.
Max Middleman? Yeah, I see
Max
it.
Middleman.
I see it, for sure.
Yeah, look, I have no say in it, so I'm just throwing out a name.
Let me pitch you like a kind of more depressed Ben Diskin.
Okay,
Yeah. Like a little sadder Ben Diskin.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm into that. But yeah, to answer your question,
No, I'm still not.
you're staying with.
She's like, I'm not getting fucked.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We don't know when season 2 is going to come. My anime scheduling brain tells me probably sometime like end of next summer, probably next fall. We have a movie to tide us over, so
Yeah.
who knows?
It'll be amazing.
So we'll see. But thank you for your question.
It's actually hard to answer that question without talking about what happens later in the manga,
Yeah.
so it's very difficult.
And plus, Mappa is one of the GOTs.
What's that?
Sorry?
Plus, Mappa is one of the GOTs.
They are.
Lately.
Yes. Mappa is killing it.
Mappa's doing so much.
Yeah.
Mappa, I'm tired just looking at Mappa's workload.
I know. I hope they're being fed and they're sleeping well.
Okay,
Hi. I'm so sorry to the crouch.
unexpected quad workout.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sam. I'm from around here. My pin number is Know Your Business. I'm sorry. But my question is actually more specifically for you because I got a conspiracy theory a little bit.
Oh, tell me.
Are you secretly always trying to get as like always a sexy man character? Because come on.
What's Detective Pikachu? Like,
So, yeah.
I guess he's sexy for some
It's
people.
typecasting.
Yeah.
Typecasting. What's the man?
Right. I specifically go through all my auditions. You caught me. I Google all the characters, and as long as I'm somewhat attracted to the character, then yeah, I see them.
Perfect. Great question. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm very short. Oh my god. So, hi, I love you all. I'll give you my credit card number later. But I binged
I
Jujutsu
love your
Kaisen.
Corona cosplay, by the way.
Thank you.
So cute.
I binged Jujutsu Kaisen just for this moment right now. And you guys talked about Juju Stroll episode 23. Hardcore sim for Gojo. I was trying to find Gojo in a dealer's room earlier, but like, flush. And totally was not drawing your characters in my seat. But opinion on in that one Jujutsu Stroll. Opinion on Gojo in that skirt.
He was pretty confident. You know?
Yeah, he could work it.
Yeah.
He could work it.
Yeah. He seemed pretty cool with it.
When your eyes look like that, you can do anything.
That's right.
His eyes are
That's
pretty.
right. Because then the eyes appear, doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, your character obviously didn't like it so much.
I also want to say I absolutely love your work because I know you from other animes too, like Archer.
Thank you.
So I absolutely love your work. I'm happy to see you all.
Thank you.
This is my. I'm so sorry if I'm going on, but this is my first con experience actually.
It's my turn!
This is just for me, but this is my little early gift because we're in my birthday month right now, so and I'm also hoping to see you guys. I have so much stuff I want to do, but I'm also hoping to see you guys to do autographs because I really want you to.
Yes.
Because I want to make this my best con experience.
So we have autographs tomorrow and Sunday, and then also directly after this panel, Ann and I are running down, and there is an area where we already have our banner set up, so you'll see. But we have somewhere else to be at 7, but we are going to try and squeeze in like 45 minutes.
All right.
I will not be there in some leagues.
Yeah. Come see us, come say hi, and all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This is making me. This is my day.
Yes, Louise.
It's an honor!
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
So my question was, like, for all three of you, from what character do you think from a different franchise your character would get along with? Because I've actually thought about this a lot, so I just want to know what, like, you guys think.
I have an answer. And then it could be because Rigo and I also get along really good, but it's 100% Mirio.
Yeah?
Yeah, Mirio and Yuuji, I think they would have some fun, yes.
How about you, man?
Oh man. This is weird. I think she might actually get to go on the My Hero Academia event. I think she can go with Bakugo. They're crazy. They're crazy
Crush on him.
Wait, is this characters we just voice or just characters in the anime? Oh, gotcha. Oh man, that just things.
I think she'd be best friends with Dazzler.
Honestly, it's pretty easy for Gojo.
Yeah, imagine the TikTok those two would start.
Same question for you. What do you think? Who are your picks?
Okay, so for Gojo, I definitely think Dazai, and I think him and Shire from Fruits Basket. I just think the sub voice actor for Gojo, I think like all of the roles he does, they all have the same personality. So honestly, like Gojo would get along with anybody he voices. I personally think. I think Yuuji would definitely get along with some of the My Hero characters too, for sure.
Indected.
Yeah, I think they would be a little funny, just a little bit.
Oh, I just realized another one. Gojo they wouldn't get along, but Gojo would troll the poop out of Vegeta. But Vegeta has that personality it would work out. Gojo would be like, yeah, Principal saying so. Look, hit me. What up, Vegeta? Why can't you hit me? I thought you were a Saiyan prince. What up?
Hey.
And then he blows up the planet he's on it.
Honestly, Nobara and Asuka from Evangelion, I feel like they like each other.
They be vibing.
Can you imagine Nobara and like...
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Just Nobara just in an Evangelion. Yuuji, what up?
Yo, what's up? My name is Javian Bryant, born and raised in DC. So my question for you guys is like, so we know this show deals with like curses and like exercising curses. Do any of you guys have any experience or maybe believe in curses?
Yes, in a way. In a way. Do I believe that you can like summon Bloody Mary in America?
Okay.
But I believe that certain words and emotions hold power. Maybe not like metaphysical, but they have the power to affect people. And anything that affects people can be cursed. People do a lot of cursed things. So in a way, yes, I believe that certain actions, words, and just happenings will ripple throughout, our actions and words and experiences. So yeah, so in a way, you can place a curse on someone, but you can't just say it and then it goes, right? Generally, there has to be like some action taken, and if you're spiteful enough, generally that happens. So in a way, yes, I sort of do believe.
Phenomenal answer. Thank you.
Yeah.
What he said?
Phenomenal answer.
My answer is no.
I'll take that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I'm sorry. My name is Jupiter. I'm from Colombia. I also have a little moke with me.
So cute.
This is mainly for Nobara's voice actress.
Yes.
How does it feel knowing that you're voicing a character that has impacted so many women to feel like better about themselves, to feel like, yes, they can be strong?
Okay, now I'm gonna cry. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Honestly, when I looked so forward to recording episode 17, to record that speech, because that's the thing I love about Nobara is that she's so sure of herself. She has so much, she understands her self-worth so completely, and that she knows that she doesn't have to settle for less. When Momo talks about like the world that female Jujutsu sorcerers live in, she's telling the truth, and her point is valid. But for Nobara, like that's not good enough. And I think that's so empowering to be able to look at a world that values us women as not as less, and say, I deserve better than that. I am better than that. And I think that's so powerful to have in your heart, and I'm really gonna cry. Thank you. I hope that
I was watching that episode yelling for you.
Thank you so much, Jupiter.
Nobara is so self-realized, like so self-actualized.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Hello, my name is Thomas Cochran, and my PIN number is 000.
You gave us 3. You can figure out the rest.
Yeah, there's only 10
Perfect.
So I wanted to ask for, I missed probably the first 10 minutes of this, so you might have already said it. Are there any poly ships that you like / support?
What does that mean? Is this a question you're not supposed to answer?
It's very large and very inside of it. There are ships, and you understand
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah.
And sometimes the ships involve many, hence the poly.
Oh, gotcha. My answer is no.
Vanilla.
My answer is whatever floats your boat.
I feel like Maki has a harem.
Well, I'm in the harem, so that's fine.
Alright. Thank you. That was something we didn't cover in the first 10 minutes, by the way.
Apologies if you already answered
answer this, I just got here, but like, from one aspiring voice actor to people who actually know what they're doing, is there any one line that you really struggle with in the studio?
There's this one Juju Stroll where, if you guys remember, there's one where it kind of like apes like an Evangelion ending. I don't know, what episode was that? Was that 11 or 12? I had to do the voiceover for that, where she's like talking about like Matsutake, da 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 da. That one was hard because it was like I had to speak very, very fast. There was so much dialogue and so many words to have to do in that very short amount of time. It felt like doing legal for a commercial. So that's my answer.
So there are certain words in certain orders that any voice actor doesn't really enjoy. So for example, like if you have like 1.5 seconds to get through a line, right? You're not gonna want to say something like bursts through.
Oh yeah, those swing shots, man.
Yeah, bursts through is my least favorite series of words, especially if you have like that 1.5 seconds to say, because that's guaranteed like 50 takes. Like, all right, burst through, burst through. Burst through. Let's just change the line.
For me, it's like when there's like ends that happen like in succession.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Yeah, there's just the human mouth just doesn't like some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was one line specifically that I thought should be done differently than was ultimately the direction that was meant to happen. And it's in episode 1, and it's the line where, and it's always just like set wrong with me, but it's the line where Suguna fights Gojo, and Yuji's about to pop back out, and he says like, "Hey, give me back my body." And it was like, yeah, just that line for some reason has always bothered me. I guess that's not like a you know, what you guys were talking about as far as like a type of sentence or something like that. But I will tell you a type of sentence. So yeah, another thing that I do voiceover wise is I'm the voice of Disney XD. So like if you watch Disney XD, I'm the guy who tells you what's coming up next. On Disney XD, like I'm that guy. So, but there is a sentence that I have to say regularly that is the bane of my existence, and this is the first time I'm openly complaining about that, even though all my producers know. It is, I have to say sometimes say it's like, DuckTales, 7:30 on Disney XD, on demand, and in the Disney Now app. So, on demand and in the Disney Now app is the...
That's awful. That's
horrible. And in the Disney Now app. And in the Disney Now app. It's just like, well, that sounded pretty good right there.
Let's record that and just play them kind of.
Yeah, and those promo spots are always very fast. That is like literally like, how fast can you talk? It's like, all right, we have this paragraph, we need it in 1 second. I'm like, okay, thanks.
I did.
Anyway, yes.
There was it's not exactly the hard to say thing, but there was one thing kind of like yours in episode 1 where Gojo, you know, it's that kind of famous scene where he tells them he's the strongest, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah, don't worry, I'm the strongest." In the dub, I think like the client really wanted, "Don't worry, I'm way stronger than him," and I think that's the one they ended up going with. But I want to guarantee you, there's an alternate take where Gojo says, instead of what it ended up, he was like, oh God, what was it? It was Give me 1 second. It was my guy, I'm the strongest. I love that take. They didn't understand what that was about. They were like, why would he say my guy? And I'm like, please. You just have to trust me. Gojo saying my guy.
They 100% should have. To me, in like my mind, every scene with Gojo should also have this. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Actually, so should we just keep taking questions? Are we okay? Are we okay with that? Do we want to take a break?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
You're gonna regret that. So I got a little bit of a 2 question. One's a bit more serious, and I don't mean it with any little attention, but what's your guys' response to like dub versus sub? Where it's like most people feel sub a bit more, whereas dub just, you know, to some degree just don't hit. But more so, answer the second question first, Adam. And I want you to answer this like, you know, like you got a character. What's your type of woman? You Like basically like just like you know. And don't say make me stop.
I like a tall woman with a nice big ass. Just saying. To talk about the sub versus dub thing. Look, I have said this to so many people who ask me similar questions. I do not care what version you like. I don't care if you never watched the dub. I don't care if you never watched the sub. What I want is for you to watch a great show, and Jujutsu Kaisen is a great show. A lot of people who say these things too also have no idea what goes into making a dub. They have no idea what how localization works. How not only are you translating a language that isn't directly translatable to English, you then have to take liberties. Then you are also trying to fit it into a thing. Yes, we are not the source. We're not the source. It is from Japan. But also, like, if you take the time to complain about something that you are watching from Japan, it says more about you than it does about the dub. Well, I'm about to go off right now. So hold on. So it's like this. We all watch sub of a lot of stuff. I love the sub, but it's just, you know, watch what you want to watch, like what you want to like, and I actually disagree that the sub of JJK doesn't hit as hard as, or the dub of JJK doesn't hit as hard as the sub. Obviously, I'm biased.
No, really?
But I do think like Robbie Damon in like Megumi's like big episode with the Chimera Shadow, like you can't tell me that doesn't hit.
That's undeniable.
You can't tell me that Anne in every scene with Nobara doesn't hit. Like you just can't tell me. So it's like, here's the thing. If you watch it on its own, you're gonna think one thing. If you watch a sub and then compare it to a dub, of course you're gonna be like, oh, that doesn't sound the same, or that doesn't, you know, the language audibly sounds different. The intensity behind the words sounds different. It's just like there's too many things to actually have an intelligent comparison or to compare them, in my opinion. So I think if you, like, who cares? Just like what you like.
Yeah.
I just saw you play Archer.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like, oh shit. But that's another one too. Like when he pops his moves and whatnot, like that hits to a degree. It's just my opinion. So it's just like.
Well, it's difficult because, you know, Japanese is a very, they use a lot of puns. There's a lot of puns in Japan. And when you try to localize any anime script, you're localizing, you know, in a perfect world, you want to imagine that in our job, we take 100% of the meaning, 100% of the time, and give it to you 100% of the way it's supposed to be. It's impossible because every anime script you're listening to in dub is maybe 45 to 55% of the original script, because the other percentage literally cannot be translated into English because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So in essence, you have to, localization is an interesting word for having to rewrite the whole damn thing to make sense.
And I know for a fact they tried to leave some stuff in JJK that was like more of like a Japanese colloquialism. Like there is a part, sorry to bring him up again, guys, but Junpei, remember him? I've talked about a couple of times. Yeah, sorry to bring him up. But his mom, also, sorry.
This guy.
She was gonna be so proud of him.
But there is a part in the dub where Yuuji calls her a green onion lady, I think is what he says. He's like, oh, you're not a green onion lady, or you're something like that. But basically what he's saying is like, and I read that and I was like, what the heck is this? And we literally had to go like search up what it meant. And it basically means, he was saying like, you're not like a housewife, like you're cool. Basically he was saying you're cool. But then, like, you know, they kept that in, which was an interesting choice, because sometimes they would be like, no, they would just have to say you're cool, because we here, like, if I was to walk up to you and be like, hey, Marcy, you're a green onion lady, you'd be like, what the?
But yeah, so it's like, how do we make it make sense for the audience that is listening to it, watching it,
No,
you know?
feel.
What about feel?
Like, I don't want to use this as an example, but it's like, you mentioned Muriel, right? And when he sits there and he says, I'm still a million. You know, a lot of people like that one felt. You know, like you feel the sense where it's just like, and this to me, I'm not caught up on the manga, like I still gotta read, but I did finish the season, and it's like I don't think there were any like one line, like it was all action, like action kind of got me in. But it's like I don't think there was that line yet in Jujutsu Kaisen. But for you guys, as like some of the main cast members who had that moment to come up, how are you going to address it when the time comes? Where it's like, here's that line to where it's like I got the fans where how you say it's.
You know what we're gonna do?
You're gonna read
no, we're gonna do our best. That's what we're gonna do.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We're all only human, you know. So we're gonna do our best.
Sub actors, we're in service of a story that's already been told, right? So we are reinterpreting it in a way that is accessible to an English-speaking audience. And we have the luxury of having a performance that we can base it off of, and we can use that as our blueprint, and then challenge ourselves.
And part of the problem, though, is we are using anime Japanese as our blueprint.
Yes.
If you have Japanese friends, they will tell you that doesn't sound like normal Japanese. That no one speaks like that. That's made up anime Japanese that they speak for their audience. So if you, it's no one does that. So since we have.
By the way,
it's a weird.
Side note, my favorite thing is to react to my friends and family now with anime reacts. Like, hey, can you take out the trash?
Okay, really quick localization lesson. We have names for these things. The is a 102, okay? A 101 is breath out, right? If it's breath in, it's 102. 102, right? So if your director's like, yeah, just sprinkle some 102s, give me a 101 at the end there, and just make sure the 102 doesn't run over. You'll get like those weird directions. Weird segue story about 102.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Hello.
Hello.
Are you George Washington?
Yes.
Do you know the whole George Washington song from Hamilton?
One last time! Is it true about chainsaw arms?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Continue. Your question, please.
Hello, I'm George Washington. I'm from Virginia. My question for you guys is who do you relate? Which character do you relate to?
Nanami.
Yeah, Nanami. I am always tired and I never want to work overtime.
That's amazing.
I just want to get home by 6
I mean, it's cliche, but mine's Yuuji.
Sometimes it's Nobara,
Yeah.
but mostly Nanami.
Yeah, mine's for sure Yuuji. It was interesting watching the scene with his grandpa at the beginning. I went through something very similar in my life when I was 11 years old. And it was, it was just like a weird, again, like with Marco Diaz and Star, like things just overlap that seemed like, how am I here right now? Like, how is that the character I'm being chosen to play? Because there are so many similarities, and I've had so many moments with Yuuji like that where I'm just like, and it does this like weird thing where it like makes my heart tingle. Like, stop, what is happening? How is this? Am I supposed to like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so my answer is Yuuji Itadori, who is also into girls like Jennifer Lawrence. I should just continually change my thinking. Anyway.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, George Washington.
Thank you, George.
I'm a big fan of your work. Thanks for the
Good thing no one here is cosplaying as a cherry tree.
Oh. Now get real awkward.
Hi.
Are you Giovanna?
Huh?
Are you Giovanna?
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to guess cosplays.
Oh yeah, are you Makima?
Yeah!
So, I mainly came up here to like see your faces because my eyesight is like really poor. I love all you guys.
How do they look?
Amazing. So, my question might be really common and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm nervous. My name is Josh. I'm from around here. Hi.
It's okay, you got this. Everyone's watching.
I'm shaking.
I probably should have said that.
My question is, if you like got put into the JJK world and stuff, like what would your fighting style be, or like your weapon?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, without including any kind of curse technique, my base style would be Kung Fu, would be Shaolin Kung Fu. Just like a hard style martial arts.
Basically, oh, that's so good. That's such a good question. Okay, so it'd have to be a little messed up if we're incorporating cursed energy, because cursed energy comes up from messed up stuff. I don't want to relive past trauma. That doesn't sound fun. So I do a thing. My wife hates this, but I really like mixing like weird food combinations. Like, for example, if you guys haven't tried Coke milk. It's delicious! It's delicious! You see, do you feel this cursed energy right now?
It's working. It's working.
Yeah, it's working. Okay. 50% Coca-Cola, 50% whole milk, you're welcome. You're welcome! Like a casual Coke float. You're welcome. And that's my first technique.
My fighting style would involve a lot of naps. I don't know where it goes from there, but naps for sure.
Thank you.
You know, about the weird food combination, you know, like the trend that's going around with mustard and watermelon.
I heard about that. Yeah. Is that good? Is that like...
Me and my mom actually ate it, and we were like, it's not that bad.
See, there's something to it. See, watermelon and mustard makes sense. Coke milk makes sense. Normalize Coke milk.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Morgan. I'm from the DMV area.
Hi.
What up?
So whenever I watch a lot of animation, one of my favorite things is when I can tell a voice actor is having fun with what they're doing. My question is, what was probably your most fun moment recording the show?
Oh, man.
The size formation bee?
There were so many fun moments. Like every episode is something special. You know, there's not like even the baseball episode, which was like filler. You know, I guess kind of. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's canon, I guess. But
Sometimes Sorg let me improv some lines, and those are really fun. Like, for example, the episode where Nobara came in, and they were like having me run through the building, right? There was a line where Gojo was sitting outside with Megumi, and your character does like a special move, and like the monster explodes out. And we were just the characters were talking about like how you sort of have to be crazy to get in this line of work, right?
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the original translation is, but we went with something when we finally saw that happen with your character. Gojo looks up and was like, "Oh, good, she's crazy." She's crazy. We made that up on the spot, so that was really fun. Like that stuff, obviously Formation B was really great. I remember having a lot of fun in the baseball episode right at the end where Gojo got to walk across those two characters just like, That was a lot of fun.
yeah, for me, I think a lot of the stuff with Toto was really fun. That was just super fun. But I also had a lot of fun as an actor doing the scene where Yuuji and Nobara are walking in the forest.
Oh yeah.
And towards the end, after the end of the SO and all that stuff. And Yuuji asks her, you could tell Yuji's not okay, and his first question is, are you okay? Like asks her if she's okay to sort of like feel safe enough to then have this conversation. Those like meaty scenes are so fun. They're so fun. You don't, I mean like, you know, we're all on other series and stuff like that, and you don't always get a chance to like have these kind of like grounded moments and like really fun acting, and that was a lot of fun for me, even though it's not like a fun thing. But my fun thing is all my stuff with Toto because that's
My fun thing was all the yelling I got to. Episode 17 is the most fun I had. Like, being able to say that with like at full force. I had to turn the game way down for that one. But yeah, getting to say all that kind of stuff is a real treat for me.
I really tried, and when Yuuji calls Toto best friend, I really tried to keep best friend up. I also really tried to get them to let me say bestie. Because that would be like the closest thing we have here to best friend though. Like I was like, you're my bestie! something cute about that. Anyway, thanks, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Were either of you in that in any of the movies that Yuuji was watching in the trailer?
I wasn't.
Oh,
I need to know who was Sam and Frodo.
oh, I think I know who one of them is. Frodo was David.
Frodo was David. Gilgamesh, Frodo.
I could be wrong. Yuuji.
Yeah.
Well, Suguna, sorry. I'm just on the makeup. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Natalie Arroyo. I'm a military kid, so I'm from all over, but I've been living here for a while.
Awesome.
And my question for you is, I really like to draw, and I'm an artist, but what do you guys do when you guys get in creative slumps, or art blocks, so to speak? Like, what are some remedies that you guys have when you guys are kind of down in the dumps like that?
Yeah, I can go.
I was just going to say really quickly, if I really feel the need to be inspired, I steal from my peers. That's a simplified way of saying I put on work that from people I know that are really good. I find inspiration from that. I kind of gauge what I'm doing wrong in my thing, or what I think I'm doing wrong. I steal their stuff, and then I feel bad about myself. I don't really. But yeah, you listen to the work. It you know.
Yeah,
it's inspiring.
That's totally normal.
If I am like in a rut, I have to reset. So I'll walk away and do something else. You know, if even just like go for a walk, or I don't know, cook something, or just watch something completely mindless. Just like turn off for a second, and then for a while, and then come back to it later, and hopefully my mind is in a different place.
Yeah, I feel like for me, anytime I get in like what I would consider a rut for myself, it's usually indicative that I am not doing things that make me feel the most me. So for example, martial arts is one of those things. Like when I'm on the mat in judo or whatever, like the only thing I can think about is that I need to throw the person in front of me, or I'm going to get thrown. So I'm just like, I'm so in it that I cannot think about anything else. Like a rut for me is usually just being in my own head, like second guessing, or oh, was that good, or did I do this, or you know, things like that. So taking some time, going and like getting my butt kicked by someone, or kicking someone else's butt is really nice. So that's why you'll see me just often fighting people.
Randomly out in the halls.
Yeah.
So Fight Club is afterward.
Yeah, my other thing is video games. I enjoy playing, I'm kind of like a one game at a time guy, and right now, and for a very long time, it's been Apex Legends. So like, if I need a break, I'll go play some Apex. They just buffed my boy Fuse, so y'all get work. So yeah, anyway.
You know, the award-winning Final Fantasy XIV is doing up to level 63.
Yeah, thank you. You look awesome.
Hello.
What is up? It's over down.
Hi, I'm Nico. I'm from PA. Me and my friend over there drove like at like 5 in the morning to get here.
Thank you for being here.
But I'm really excited. So my question is, was it like easy to get into character? Because it when you listen to the dub, it really seems like you were like in character, which makes sense. But yeah.
I don't have to stretch very far to get to Nobara, like character-wise or vocally. So like, it's honestly just like I just tap into the fun that she is, you know? Yeah.
I think with Yuuji, he kind of almost like, even if you watch the first few episodes, like he kind of warms into where we end up going. Like he does have a pretty big journey the whole time, and his voice is very close to mine. I mean, some of the like quieter stuff, you know, I'll like drop it down a little bit. He's sort of like in this range, but for the most part, he's, yeah. I mean, I guess if we're talking vocal quality versus like character, but you know, having context with what's happening in the sub, like watching the sub, having context, get greater context of the story, like that kind of helps inform the character. So yeah, I think we all did, you know, our homework going into it.
I just pretend I'm trolling my wife every time. Listen, I love you, baby. I love you so much. Am I right though? Is it pretty much that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love you.
Awesome. Thank you, and thanks for driving safely.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Adam. Sorry.
Don't worry.
First of all, I loved the work that you did in Good Pusher Dogs with Dazai. I feel like you did amazing. Thank you so much. But I kind of had two questions. First, you kind of answered this a bit earlier, but what was your guys' reaction to seeing Gojo's eyes for the first time?
Oh, buddy.
Oh, okay.
I have like a lot of friends who are very into the series, and so like I was getting spoilers before I saw it animated. But it still did not hinder the impact that I felt in my soul when he pulled that bandana up, that blindfold up, and yeah. And that whole episode was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, because I remember watching that episode with my dad, and he was in front of me, so he couldn't see my reaction, but I was like,
Yeah, that's about right.
You couldn't see his either because he was doing the exact same thing.
so he was like, I can hear the fangirls already. And we were like,
yeah.
And second, besides the characters that you voice act, which is your favorite character from the anime?
Ooh.
Nanami. But also Maki. Right now it's Maki.
She's great. She's great.
I think mine's Nobara.
Oh.
Yeah, mine's Megami, so.
Megami.
But my cousin's favorite is Nanami, so I'm going to tell the thing. Anyway, that's all.
Awesome. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Great.
My name is Del. I'm actually from southern New Jersey, so yeah, pretty long drive. Yeah, South Jersey people. Fun fact: I actually work at a bar, and I am currently making anime-themed drinks. Ooh. So I'm trying to think of one for JJK right now. My question for you guys is: if your characters were legal age of drinking, the three of your characters go into a bar. What do you order?
AMFs.
AMFs.
For Gojo, 100%. If you've seen an AMF, it's bright crystal blue.
Extremely strong.
Very strong. You only need one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vodka, rum, gin, tequila, triple sec.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dang. Actually, okay, I did a convention last weekend, and they at the bar had character-themed drinks. I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of it on my phone, but I will tell you later when I look it up. Find me. What it included so you can make it because it was actually very delicious. But I feel like Yuuji wouldn't. I feel like he would try something and it would be too spicy. This alcohol's too spicy.
You feel like a Bloody Mary with Tabasco sauce.
Too spicy.
Nobara's a classy lady. I think she'd order like a vodka martini.
Yeah.
Really dirty, like a really dirty martini.
No.
Yeah.
Martini with a lemon twist. Thank you.
Like a classic gin martini with a lemon twist. Yeah, definitely. I usually post these on TikTok too, and it's like I'm wondering, I need one for like a JJK. I'm like, what would Yuuji drink? A Shirley Temple? And then he's like,
Yes.
All mocktails.
yeah, definitely.
But I don't like the cherries. Actually, wait, it's carbonated, right? Never mind, too spicy. I'm trying to find this thing. We can, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll yell it out when I find it.
If any of you have just learned about the AMF today and are planning to go to a bar to order one, just be careful. just be careful. Just be careful. And you don't get too much. Don't get too much. That's not a challenge. Don't get too much.
Hello.
I'm Trevor.
Hey, Trevor.
So without trying on anything nice here for anybody who hasn't read the manga, are you guys all caught up?
Yeah.
I am?
I am not.
You are not.
Purposefully. I gotta wait. If I read it now, then when season 2 comes, I'll be like,
It's going to impact your actings.
Yeah, I like to.
Whatever, I spoke myself.
So, the two of you that did,
Yeah.
without giving too much away or going into greater depths,
Good job.
how do you feel
Wait, how do I feel? About what?
about Shibuya?
Dang it, I know enough to.
How do we answer this
I
without...
don't know how to answer it without giving away anything.
Okay, anime react to how you feel about Shibuya.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Hi, now suddenly I'm here. Hi, I'm Ross. I'm from Maryland. And my question was, in the group, who do you think, like, and in character, who do you think is like the worst driver, and who do you think is the best driver?
Gojo is the worst driver.
Yes.
He's blindfolded. That's such an easy question. Who's the worst driver? The guy in the blindfold?
Pick you up from school.
Do not get in that car, children. Do not.
Who let him drive?
I think the best driver would be Megami.
Yeah, what?
He's the most responsible.
Yeah. Yeah, basically everyone but me.
That's a good question to you.
I think Gojo's the worst driver and Junpei. Oh my god! I did it again! I'm noticing people are leaving
It's
this
another
because they keep doing that.
My name is Harvey. I'm gonna be honest, I only got into Jujutsu Kaisen because Gojo and I share the same birthday. It quickly became my favorite.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But my question to you guys is, out of your characters, what's your favorite part of their character design? Whether it be their personality, technique, etc.
I like Yuji's fighting ability. Like that's like his stances, how he moves when he's fighting, his special moves. That's answering your question, right? As far as character design? Or do you mean like I like his pink hair?
No.
We need his cute.
Personality, technique, whatever.
Yeah.
What I love most, I love her technique, but what I love most about Nobara is that she is, like, personality-wise, she is all over the place, and she is 100% comfortable in that. I love that, because she can go from 0 to 60, from, like, super serious to, like, super goofy in no time at all. That is, for an actor. Oh, that's great.
Gojo has a lot of cool stuff. Obviously his powers are cool and all that stuff. I think as an actor, what's most interesting, or my favorite part of Gojo, is actually like the weakness of the character, which is this like crazy arrogance. It's something that, in my opinion, balances out the ridiculous strength of the character. A very human weakness that can be pinpointed and exploited. That makes him so much more interesting than just like a power level stick. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even like a hard weakness to exploit. It's something we can all relate to. It's just like, I bought my own shit. I know I'm the best. It's when anyone reaches that level of arrogance, it's opening up a huge weakness in your character that anyone can take advantage of. Anyone. And I think that is the most interesting thing, and the thing I'm attracted to most as an actor about Gojo.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. My name is Rachel. I'm from Maryland. And I wanted to ask you guys, what's your favorite outro? Like, because there's the first one and there's the second one.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to top.
Yeah. They're both great. I can hit that high note on that second one. I mean, we all do that, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
It's just iconic.
Yeah.
It's got so much swag.
Yes.
Awesome.
Alright, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Andrea. I'm from Maryland too. And I have two questions. The first one is for Adam. Since you played Margo Diaz, who is a Latin American character, do you have any favorite Latin American artists, like Bunny, Maluma, or any artists like that?
Good question. Come back to me on this. Let me think
Well,
about
I
this.
definitely recommend Maluma and Bad Bunny. Those are two really good reggaeton artists.
Yeah.
And then the question for
Oh,
the
he's
three of you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Hold on. Yeah. Go on. Yeah. Come back
Una
to me.
Kini is a song that came out recently, and actually he sings in Spanish and in Japanese. So it's a really cool video.
There's a song I'm obsessed with right now, Todo de Ti, and Talapatia.
Oh, yeah, Telepatia from Cali.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The question for the three of you is, if you were to get an anime-inspired tattoo based on your character, what would you want to be? Would it be something small, hidden? Are you in the process of getting one done?
So weird.
I got a tattoo of Gojo's chest on my chest.
I don't know, they can't see this one.
Yeah.
I just want this
No, I would totally get a tattoo of the straw doll and the hammer and nails together. That'd be really cute. Actually, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I would think of like a minimalist like manga panel or something like that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't know this. Hey, what up?
You're so buff. Dude, Toto, is that you?
What's right?
Dude, Toto's easily, I don't want to say easily, but he's probably one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, mine too. Like it's Nobara and Toto for me as my two favorites.
So my name is Eddie. I'm from Central Jersey or Northern Jersey. Regarding the last question, Bad Bunny, go. That's the only answer. But I got into Jujutsu Kaisen. I may be a little biased because Adam McArthur. I fell in love with your work from Star Wars Force of Evil.
Oh, thanks, man.
Of course, my girlfriend got me into it, and then I saw on your Twitter, you're like, oh, I'm voicing Yuuji Itadori. I'm like, all right, time to start Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, thanks, that's awesome.
But a question to ask is, have there ever been moments in the recording booth where you guys like really got emotional with the lines that you were voice acting? Like maybe like even your emotions really took over when you did a line?
Yeah, I think for me, like the more you do stuff that has emotion, and actually Marco had a lot of monologues in Star vs. the Forces of Evil that were really sort of like emotional, like grounded, even though his voice is like, cartoony or whatever. So I think as time has gone on, I'm not ever in a situation where I would say my emotions take over. Where like, I can't control them or something like that. However, there are definitely times where like, I'm crying while I'm saying something. And one of the like, I was like fighting it back in the scene in episode 24 when Yuuji says, I'm sorry to Esso, because it just felt like so full of, like he really is sorry. Yuuji does not want to kill anybody, and then he sees this person that he knows he has to handle lose his brother, and that's obviously relatable to Yuuji because of Junpei and like all these other things. He's like lost people he's cared. His grandpa, like he just keeps experiencing this same feeling that, we live with these characters, and so yeah, I definitely feel like I feel those things as if, he's feeling them, so.
Yeah. For Nobara, actually in episode 24 too, like when they're having that quiet talk after the fight, she has this little speech and she's upbeat about it, but like there's such a sadness hiding, in the back there, and like that really got to me.
Yeah, you like learn that that's how she deals.
That's how she deals, yeah, with the trauma of having to do this every day. It's crazy. But yeah, there are, and on other shows too, like there are times when I'm like, this is entirely too sad, and then it's just me and the director crying on the line, and it's so sad.
I have one director that I work with pretty regularly, and she cries at everything, and that also makes me want to cry.
Is it Natalie?
Is it
Avatar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I was gonna love it if it was sword. Oh, buddy. Yeah. Never let me know I do so many impressions of him. It's hard to answer for Gojo because for this whole first season, he hasn't taken much seriously. His emotional register has maybe gone to like mildly annoying, so far. And that was when Yuuji like quote unquote died, right? And he was like, oh well, this is mildly off-putting. There go my Saturday plans. Thanks, higher ups. Might as well murder them. So we did get to really put a lot of spicy spiteness into some of his lines, like when he was having that sit down with the principal, or even when he brought you back from the dead, right? And he was just like, and your long lost dead friend Yuuji, right? And he wasn't doing it for any other reason than to see the look on the principal's face, right? So when we did that line where he was like, oh man, I was worried that you might have dropped dead, from the shock. So we really tried to own in on that, from the shock, So we tried to pick moments in Gojo's performance where you could tell there's more than just the douchey trolley guy, which will come later in the series. But for most of season 1, Gojo, is the douchey trolley guy.
Thanks, dude.
Also, my next plan for cosplay is Sukuna. I hope I can see you when I do some.
Yeah, dude.
Hello, my name is Heather. I'm from Maryland. I have two quick questions. I feel a little silly because this one's kind of similar to the last one. What was a moment from the first season that like really had like an emotional impact on you? It doesn't have to be like related to your character.
I mean, yeah, we've kind of answered that. I will say one more that just really, like, I got chills when I was watching back, like when it finally came out and we were watching it. But in that last fight scene where Yuuji and Nobara kind of team up, and there's that one part where it like cuts back and forth between them, and the guitar's like, gung, 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 like that. I was like, oh yeah.
Same episode, but when she does the
oh yeah.
Oh! I was on my feet. I was like, yeah! Oh, it happened!
Ice cold.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the second one is a little silly. You don't have to answer if you haven't played the game, but who would your respective characters main in Smash Brothers?
I'm so embarrassed to say that I don't play Smash Brothers.
Yuuji would main Kirby?
Yes,
Who's currently at the top of the tier list?
Bayonetta?
Yeah, that.
Nobara would main who's the cutest? Who's the cutest character?
Personally, I think Nobara would main Daisy.
Daisy, yes. Yeah, I agree.
They're just kind of similar if you ask me. They both got a lot of pep.
And she's cute.
Yeah, and she's cute. Alright, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hi. Hey. Hello. My name is Michael. I'm from here, and my question is, for each of your characters, like, who would you want them to fight from another anime? Like a character from another anime.
Vegeta because the trolling would be amazing. I'll think of more characters while you.
Yeah, think of more characters while I'm desperately trying to think.
I literally think, I don't think a Saiyan could beat Gojo, and I'll tell you why. Mechanically, no, hear me out. Mechanically they can, right? Vegeta, Goku, they're all planet busters, right? Gojo can't live in space, right? So if they blew up the planet he was living on, they win. But when did a Saiyan ever turn down an opponent asking if they want to see their special technique? The answer is never. All it would take is for Gojo to be like, I don't think you could take it. I don't think you can handle my special technique.
I would pay to watch Gojo.
Right. Just minding Vegeta to be like, no, this is interesting, hold on. Shut up, Kakarot! Let me see your special technique, you know? And then, boom, infinite void, and it's over. So I don't think it's within the realm of possibility for Gojo to lose that fight. Unless Vegeta or Goku has a huge, like, intelligence boost and be like, no, maybe we just get rid of him first. Maybe we don't see the technique, you know? Maybe it's not that important.
I think we're getting pretty close to the end. Yes.
Oh no, it's already 5:27.
Yes. So,
I did not come up with an answer. I'm so sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Can we do a speed round real quick, and you will be the last if anyone comes up behind you to get you just like don't forget my
Girl, yes. Girl, yes.
Yes.
Happy birthday, queen.
Oh yes.
Oh my god. Oh wait, also all the Nobaras, if you come find me this weekend, I got a present for you.
Birthday present.
Happy birthday for reals.
Okay, speed round. What's your question? One of us will answer each question.
Okay.
My name is Danielle. I'm from Maryland. I was going to ask all of you, like, what you think your character in Jujutsu Kaisen's favorite anime would be, but I, like, just time crunched Nobara.
Yeah. Okay. Nobara's favorite anime. You know what? Her favorite anime would be something like Fruits Basket, like something she would just love.
Gojo weirdly enough has a canonical one, it's Digimon.
So I was wondering if I could ask you 3 questions real quick.
One question and one answer.
Is how real do you think Jujutsu Kaisen is in this reality? Like, you know how people do voodoo and cast spells and witchcraft? How real do you think Jujutsu Kaisen can be?
I'll take that. I think real enough. Like we said, I said curses generally manifest themselves in real life through actions, words, and personal experience. So as long as there is enough spite, enough willingness, I think any of that can.
It's all in his mind and how real it can be.
Yeah, I think it can be real enough for many people. Yeah.
Okay, so second thing.
I'm so sorry.
You got to my keys.
Sorry. Those are cool.
Those are great.
Thank you.
Hi. My question. Oh wait.
Let's go for it.
And you guys can answer this. What would your character's favorite Starbucks drink be? I'm sorry, what?
What would your character's favorite
Starbucks drink be as your resident Starbucks barista?
Isn't there one called like pink drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love you, Maki, by the way. Hi, my name is Esther. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
And my
question was, who is your least favorite character in the show?
I know I just answered, but I'm just gonna say there's literally not a least favorite character. Maybe Mahito.
Maybe Mahito. Pollution.
But like every character has something amazing about them, I think. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Sophia. I want to ask you who your favorite antagonists of the series are, because I think they're all really well written.
Oh yeah. Well, mine is Mahito.
It is?
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
No, Mahito's really interesting because he's literally like growing into it throughout the series, and like watching that growth, quote unquote, is fascinating and terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah, and that bone. Oh wait, you said favorite. Never mind. I was going back to the other question. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Our last question today. My name is Tony, all the way from Minnesota.
Welcome.
My question is, so I'm an anime only watcher. The ending song is sick. Which one of you would be the best dancer and can replicate the moves that they make?
No. You mean all of us?
Yeah.
Adam, it's you.
I would give it a really good try. Yeah. All right, you guys, we're finished. Thank you so much for coming out. Run down to the autograph area. We're gonna have some really amazing prints. We've got some holograph prints, all that stuff. So we're only gonna be there probably like 45 minutes. So come and say hello to us. Awesome. See you guys later.
Bye.